So hey all, my name is Lauren. I live in Texas, and I am a transgender individual. And this is probably going to be the first of at least a few videos discussing some things that are going on in and around my state. And I kind of want to make sure that folks know about this, know about what's going on. I probably should have prepared a little bit better. But this was kind of, I guess, a little bit of something that just kind of came up about 20 minutes ago, so you'll have to forgive me for the lack of visual aids and fancy doodads right now in this particular version, but maybe I'll input some stuff in editing, but bear with me. But I mean, as you guys may or may not know, it's like a little bit about me first, just in case this is your first video with me. uh, I am, I live in Texas. I am fur parent to two fur babies, Miso and Bevo. I have two cats. I live with a disabled partner who is on disability, and for the most part, for the last 20 years, we've had a relatively happy life in Texas. And I kind of wanted to say that, and this is one of those things I really want to stress, because when I moved to Texas, one of the reasons why I felt good about moving here, at least, at the time, was that I kind of felt that Texas and New York had something in common, because New York is where I'm from. And, the thing is that I kind of felt, particularly at the time, that Texas and New York were two states that didn't sweat the small stuff. They didn't care, if you were, if you were gay or if you were whatever else. And maybe that's a wrong impression, but if so, I would like to think it. I'd like to think positively of my fellow Texans, and I would also like to hope our better angels carry out, at least so far as state pride goes. But let me just say this though. It's like I thought that Texas and New York, they didn't sweat the small stuff. They got stuff done when it needed to, and when your neighbor needed help, that you were there to be there for them, and that is what you would do, because this is what Texas and this is what New York did. They roll up their sleeves and they get stuff done. And that was kind of the impression that I had, and that's kind of how I felt about it for a long time. I work at a fairly diverse employer. I work at a place that has a fairly large number of employees, and that they have always had, you know, I would say a fairly gracious outlook on everything. And I've been proud to work there for the most part. Some of the individual offices have had issues, but that's for another story. But I really have enjoyed working where I work. And particularly right now, I probably have the best job I think that I've ever had. And it's kind of one of those things that I would like to say that it's the kind of job that I thought I would not like. Where every day is different, where there's a lot of different things going on, and it's one of those things where it's like I want to give a huge shout out to the people that I work with. I don't want to get specific right now because I don't want to dox myself or any of that, other than stating a few basic generic facts, and maybe you guys already know, maybe I already have. But that being said, my coworkers are fantastic. I work at a really nice place where the office really feels like a team. We all are pulling on the same page. There's never any BS. We all know and trust each other to do our jobs, and that's kind of what I feel like Texas should be as a whole. And this is something that I'm really hoping that it reaches people that this means something to. But about 5 years ago, I went and had my ID changed, and I was thankful and that it was not too complicated. Still a lot of work, and it was in a way to align it was to align things to the way that I really wanted to be. And right now that is potentially being challenged. Um, is I mentioned in another video that I started giving money to Equality Texas, an equality group in my state, which is trying to fight for equality for all Texans. And this is kind of what I'm hoping to go for here, because I really want to hold on to the belief that Texans as a whole, that Americans as a whole, are still worth fighting for, they're still worth standing shoulder to shoulder with their neighbors to take care of each other. And I don't, I want to preserve that for as long as I can because it helps keep me going. But let me just say this, last year, and I'm reading this from an article on my other screen because unfortunately I didn't have I might edit it in as you're reading this. You might see this instead of my face right now. But last year, Attorney General Ken Paxton issued a directive to DPS to stop allowing Texans to update the gender marker on their IDs. And around the same time, Paxton received a request for a legal opinion regarding the validity of state court orders, and since then, we have been waiting for the other shoe to drop in the form of an AG opinion. And in this new legal opinion, Paxton opined that court orders from state judges instructing state agencies to update individuals' gender markers are invalid, and ordered them to retract any updates to ID documents based on such court orders. Now, it notes here that AG opinions are not legally binding, and this opinion does not invalidate current IDs. However, if state agencies treat the opinion as law and follow his orders, it will jeopardize the safety of all trans Texans. That being said, it does not thrill me the possibility that they might change my marker back. It's like it was something that I worked very hard to do. It was something that does not, in my opinion, hurt anyone else. It doesn't have any bearing on what anybody else does. It is just a letter on my license, which means a lot to me. And it should, and I think it would mean a lot to cis Texans too, but it's like to put this on the other way around. Let's say that the state decided to change your gender marker to the other one without your permission, okay? I mean, let's just say that you are a cis female Texan and they decided to change it to an M. I guarantee you that would make you upset, and if it does, that's exactly what it would do with me. So, it's like, I don't think that, at least at this time, I don't know if it's going to cause, if they're going to follow through with it or not. And right now it is not law. If it becomes law, I do not know what I will do, because honestly it will put me in a little bit of limbo, because I know some of my documents, like federal, would say one thing and some would say other things. And it's kind of a problem because I am currently working to change over the last of my documents to the correct gender marker for me. And it's kind of one of those things where it's just like you're trying to keep all the marbles on the table and they keep sliding towards the edge as you're trying to keep them all in the center. And that being said, I still intend to go on the 24th for my appointment to the ASC to get my citizenship updated to an F marker. I was supposed to go in January, but unfortunately, weather prevented that. And also, there is the thing that let's see, I still have my New York birth certificate, which was the last document I would have had to change. Hopefully, it will still be the last document I have to change. I don't think that there should be too much of an issue, because I think New York is pretty good with trans rights, and I think that as the birth certificate was issued in the state, because I was adopted, some of you may know this, but I have a birth certificate from New York, and fingers crossed that is not a problem, but I can only deal with so much at a time, because as you all know, a lot's going on lately, and it's taking a lot of my spoons just to stay in a good spot. And to fellow Texans that might be checking this out, it's like I really kind of hope that you can at least be just kind of the live and let live kind of mentality, because it's just like if it's not affecting, I mean, I doubt it affects, it's one of those things that it's just like it's not doing anything to hurt anybody, it's like I'm just trying to live my life. And I really kind of hope that people, everybody, has our backs, because it's like this is not just something that's going to affect us eventually, But this is something also that I don't want to. I'm doing what I can to support my fellow trans Texans, to support my fellow trans folks in general, and to just support everybody, because it's like I think people, all across the world, no matter what you're into, no matter who you are, you should be able to live your life the way that you want to without interference from outside forces. It's like you're not doing anything malicious, and I think that we really need to focus on issues that concern greater things than ourselves. And I also want to remark on an article which of course is also particularly concerning, which does threaten to cause a significant amount of upheaval for me personally. This is on NBC News. This is on USA Today and other news outlets. And if you are not aware of it, it's like I want to make sure that as many people know about it as possible, because it's like we need to make sure that this does not happen, because if it happens here, it could happen other places, and we do not want to let that happen. But there is a bill that has currently been introduced that would make identifying as transgender a felony punishable by jail. The bill, according to the article, while unlikely to pass, highlights the increasing extremism of legislation targeting trans people, especially in Texas, in recent years. And I'm just going to read just a little bit of the article, just for details, and I will include the link in the posting of this video. A Texas state bill could charge transgender people with gender identity fraud, making it illegal to identify as trans on official documents and potentially leading to jail time. The bill, which was filed last week by Republican State Representative Tom Oliverson, would make it a state jail felony if a person knowingly makes a false or misleading verbal or written statement by identifying their sex assigned at birth incorrectly to a government entity or to their employer. State jail felonies in Texas are punishable by up to 2 years in jail and a fine of up to $10,000. He did not immediately return a request for comment. So far, the bill has no other co-sponsors, making it unlikely to pass. However, it is the first of its kind nationally and is an example of how legislation targeting trans people has become more clear in its intent and more extreme in recent years, particularly in Texas. And, I want to say that it should be very, very concerning to all of us that this is even something that is being considered. It's like I don't necessarily expect it to pass. I don't expect it to become law. But if it does, needless to say, I will, of course, have to pick up and go, because, it's like, it's getting really hard to love my state right now because of this. And, this is one of those things that it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it's one of the things I've always had about the whole, just move argument, or the people that, that tend to do that. It's like, I get it. It's like, I get it. You're going someplace that is theoretically safer, except one thing that's always held me back about that is, where's safe? It's like, and also the whole fact that I would have to pack up and move, and it would be like a gigantic disruption of my life, to say nothing of the fact that it would potentially be crippling, to have to leave a job that I enjoy, to sell the house, all that other stuff that we would have to do if we had to relocate. And if this becomes a potential threat to me, and it is a potential threat, I might just have to pick up and grab all the things that I can't live without, and have my partner meet me, my disabled partner, which is has vision issues and such. So it's like, this is something. I mean, I used to I think that if anything, Texas should be standing up for the little person. That I think that it should be a kind of place where it should be safe here. And right now, it's concerning me that it might potentially be the kind of place that I might have to leave for my own safety. And I had never thought that I would get to that point, and I really hope that it doesn't get to that point. But that being said, I want to make it clear that it's like, if I do have to go, probably for the short term, I would go to my mom's in New York. I don't really know what my long-term plan would be. I would have to find some place probably in the Northeast that I could reestablish myself, and it would probably be a significant dent to a lot of things that are in my life. And I really hope that it doesn't come to that, because it's like I really hope that it does not. But it's like I will do what I have to do to protect myself. I will do what I have to do to be able to live a happy life, or at least as happy as I can. And I intend to stand up for trans people in Texas, and for trans people in general, and especially now, because not just because I have to, but because it is essentially important now that we do what we can to try and just make this country, a place that is safe for people, a place that can be proud of what it accomplishes, that can be proud of who we are. And for a long time I was, and I want to say that I still hold on to that. But with things like this that are going on, and it's like you're I mean, I feel like they're coming after people who are just trying to live their lives, and it's not you know these things that they're trying to keep our focus on. It's like there's such a small percentage of the population. It's like the thing about transgender folks in the military. It's less than 1% of the military. It's like, how many people are trans athletes that are in sports that align with their gender, or at least before all of this started happening? It's like there are more. I think I remember reading, and forgive me if I'm wrong on this, but I don't think I am. There are more children in Texas with the measles right now, a disease that has been practically eradicated, than we had trans athletes in sports. So I mean, I think that that's kind of ridiculous that's even a thing. It's like, and again, I want to once again reiterate. It's like, if you haven't gotten, if you don't have these vaccines, get them. Because it's far better than getting the disease. And trust me on this. It's like I got every COVID vaccine that they had to give me. And it's like, I think at least at some point last year, I'm pretty sure that I had some sort of COVID, and it was mild enough that I didn't even know really that it was anything more than like a cough or something. But that's exactly the point of vaccines. It's like it's mild. It's not life threatening to you. And it's like there are people that are literally dying of diseases right now that are preventable. And it is just unbelievable that is still the case. So it's like I urge you to to spread the news about these articles, to check on me, because I would appreciate it if any of my friends are watching this, make sure that I'm okay, make sure that I'm here, because the one thing I don't want to do is just disappear. And that is what I'm trying to do by making these videos. It's like, I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm here, that I am still in one piece, and that I am doing what I can to just be able to have the privilege of doing what most people in this country can do, which is just to live my life and mind my own business. But that's it for now. So we'll see what the next video has to discuss, and I'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, click the subscribe button and leave a comment below. See you next time.